Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of remote learning. Uh, so far, we've talked about Canvas, how to draw a rectangle using fill rect and stroke rect, how to draw lines using the begin path, move to, line to, and again, stroke and fill functions. And today we're going to be talking about arcs. All right. Now, let's just jump right into it. We'll do the explanation as we go. All right, so today we're doing arcs. That should be in the Drawing Arcs in Canvas assignment on Replit. All right, you'll see the information for the assignment here. Obviously, there's no link here. I'm shooting that video yet, but this is hopefully what you use to get into the YouTube video. Please also don't forget to fill out this Google form. More of you filled it out yesterday, which is great news, but I'm still missing quite a few people. So please make sure that you're going to that Google form every single school day, hopefully between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. because 3 p.m. is when I need to send it to my administrators. But if you really can't do it then, just do it when you are able. You'll see by the end of this week, I'm going to have a full thing of feedback for you guys for all of the assignments that we're doing so that you know everything's a-okay. All right. Also, if you have any questions for me at all during the school day, and honestly, I'll try to be available other times as well, please just join the Discord server. The past couple of days, I was hyping up Zoom and other ways to contact me. Just join the Discord server, please. It will make it so much easier for us to stay in contact. I post all the videos there, so if you miss something, you'll know exactly what you have to do for the day. Students have been asking me questions there, and if you ever have anything that you don't fully understand, you can just ask me a question. I'll get right back to you. Just join the Discord. It's as easy as copying that link into your browser, making an account, and then honestly, the moderators will help you out from there. You don't even have to worry about knowing how to use the tech as much. So just give that a look. All right, so now that we have the housekeeping out of the way, let's look at the actual assignment. All right, so again, you'll see that I've given you a canvas element and CSS for it so that we have our canvas right here in the center of our results tab. All right, so now let's get to uh, let's just get to business. So I'm going to say var c1 is equal to document dot get element by id c1 so that I can have my canvas element here in the JavaScript. Then I'm going to create a function. I'm just going to call it draw. Oops. And then before I even fill it out, I will spell it correctly and then call the draw function. All right, this makes it so that we can use it uh, whenever we run our website. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say var ctx, get that context, and again that's going to be c1 dot get context. Again, please make sure get is all lowercase and the C in context is capitalized. You want to be using lower camel case. All right, otherwise it's not going to work. And then you're going to send me a message being like, Mr. Sands, it doesn't work. And it's because you're not doing that. All right. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to just set my fill and stroke styles. And you can actually change these as you go, and it makes things interesting when you draw it. But I'm just going to set it up at the top. We're not going to be doing like a bunch of different colors right yet. All right, so I'm going to say ctx dot fill style. A lot of you, oh, and I just did, a lot of you struggle to spell, so make sure that style is spelled correctly. Not a lot of you, just when I look at the work, yeah, I just did it too. Some of you put the Y after the L or something, and again, this is lower camel case. Just be careful with your work. I'll stop talking about it. Just please be careful. All right. So fill style. Uh, let's go a little silly. I'm gonna set it to yellow. and let's say ctx dot stroke style. The default is actually black. So, and I'm going to set it to black. It should already be that color, but I'm just going to give some intent here. All right. So we have this fill style and stroke style, and now I want to draw an arc. All right. And before we actually draw any arcs, let's talk about what that means. All right. An arc, well, so far we've done a rectangle, we've done a line, and for these, all that was required for the rectangle was the coordinates of that top left point, the width, and the height. All that was required to make a line was at least two endpoints, all right, using the move to and line to functions. For an arc, well, firstly, what is an arc? An arc is just a curved line, all right? And how can we determine where an arc exists on our canvas? Well, we just need the coordinates of the center of our arc. We need to know the radius of our arc, and we also need to know the start angle and end angle of our arc. And the part of this that'll be a little tricky is that we do angles in Canvas in radians. All right, so let's just jump right into that real quick. All right, so uh, when you're drawing arcs or circles, you need 4 steps. Really, you could do with 3, but no, I'll say 4 steps. First step is call begin path. You want to start a path for your arc to travel on, just like with your lines. All right. Then you're going to use this arc function, which is just arc cx, which is the x coordinate of the center, cy, which is the y coordinate of the center, r, which is your radius, and then the starting angle and ending angle of your arc. Then, if you'd like, you can close the path. This step is optional. And finally, you can call stroke, fill, or both. Now, before we go into explaining anything, let's just put this on our page. All right, so let's do something like that. We're going to say ctx dot begin path. Then I'm going to say ctx dot arc. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw an arc right in the center of my canvas. Now, I'll just pause for a second for some of you to guess what the coordinates of the center of my canvas is. If you guessed 100, 100, you were correct. How do we know that information? Well, firstly, in the index.html, we know that this is a 200 by 200 canvas. That's the dimensions of this. So we also know that the top left corner of our canvas is at 0, 0. We talked about that yesterday and the day before. And so if I wanted to get in the center, I'll have to move 100 units over, half the total width, and 100 units down, half the total height. So my Cx should be 100, as should my Cy. All right, I want to make this a decent sized arc. Let's give it a radius of 50 units. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a couple of radian values, and we're going to be talking about that as well. I'm going to say go from 0 and then stop at math.pi. Don't freak out. I promise this will make sense. I'm going to say ctx dot stroke. I'm going to skip the close path for now. We're going to actually throw that in a little bit. And now I'm just going to run it so you guys can see what it is that we get. And here you get this arc that looks like a smiley face. Okay, so let's discuss why this happens. All right. So, when you're drawing arcs, it's really useful to understand essentially how the unit circle works. All right, or at least how it works in Canvas. All right, the unit circle says we have degree values or radian values around this circle, and they start over here at 0 degrees. Then in Canvas, it will go clockwise to 90 degrees right over here, 180 degrees right over here, 270 degrees right over here, as it goes around, and then it lands back here at the start with 360 degrees. Okay, that's probably how you're used to conceptualizing of this. Now, as I mentioned, Canvas uses radian values, all right? And all that you need to know here is this information, that 180 degrees is equal to pi radians, or I'm just going to write rads for the sake of saving time, all right? And this is incredibly easy for helping us convert from a degree angle measure to a radian angle measure, because if 180 degrees is equal to pi radians, we could just multiply whatever our angle value is. We can just multiply that by pi over 180. All right. Because if this is a degree angle measure, let's say I wanted to convert 45 degrees, I could just say 45 degrees times pi rads over 180 degrees. Now, if you've been in a science class, they've probably helped you uh, do problems like this where you have multiple different units of measure, and you need to figure out the final unit of measure in the sum, product, difference, or whatever operation you're doing. All right, and the easiest way to do it here is, well, we look in the numerators. We have a degree angle measure in the numerator and a rad angle measure in the numerator. And then in denominator, we have just a degree angle measure, because this is over 1. Because we have a degree angle measure in the numerator and denominator, we can cancel out those units. So then it just becomes 45 pi rads over 180. This is how you convert it to a radian measure. If you don't fully understand this, just take whatever angle measure you want and multiply it by math.pi. Now in this case, we have this smiley face. That's because we actually went from 0 to 180 degrees, or from 0 to pi. Because again, these are equivalent. So that's why I can put that there. All right. So that's why I get this smiley face. This is my start angle, 0. This is my end angle, 180 degrees, or pi. And our center is right in between that at 100, 100. And the distance from there to there is 50 units from that center to any point on our arc. All right. So that's a decent start. Now, if you wanted to make a circle, well, if we go from 0 to 180 by saying 0 to math.pi, to make a circle, you just have to keep on going around that center point. And all that means is just increase your end angle value. In our case, since we went from 0 to 180 degrees, or pi, to get to 360 degrees, we just have to understand that 180 is half of 360. So to get from 180 to 360, we just need to multiply that value by 2. So similarly, if we multiply pi by 2, that'll give us a 360 degree value. So I'm just going to throw a times 2 right in there. And you'll see, boop, if I run it, now I have a circle on my canvas. Cool. All right. Now what I'm going to do here in the middle is I'm going to say ctx dot close path just because I'm going to want to fill it in. And I like to close path whenever I fill in uh, a drawing. And then I'm just going to say ctx.fill. All right. Right there, we have a yellow circle in our canvas. Okay. Now, you know what? I'm actually going to stop here and I'm going to challenge you guys. I just showed you how to draw arcs, and I want you to play around with this. You can end here if you wanted to, submit, and be done with it. But if you wanted to challenge yourself, I challenge you to draw a smiley face by making 2 more circles for eyes, and that semicircle that we just drew, make it a little smaller, and make a mouth. This may require that you set a new ctx.fill style for the eye colors if you want them to show up against a yellow face that we already have, since the fill style would be yellow. If you tried to fill in those circles, you wouldn't be able to see it. But yeah, that's my challenge to you. If you are really not feeling up to it, that's okay too. If this is a lot, just pause here. All right, and then just my last sales pitch. Please, please, please make sure that you're filling in the Google form every single school day. And I so highly recommend you join our Discord group. I see a lot of you people doing the attendance form and not joining the Discord group. Don't think I haven't noticed. All right, so please get that done. And tomorrow we'll see the results of the smiley face. We're gonna do that tomorrow and put a couple other cool things in there. All right, guys. That's all for today. Have a good one.